Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 8, text number 69. Sudushkaram karma kritva lokapalerapi prabhuhu aishyati achirato rajan sho vipulayam stava. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My dear king, your son is very competent. He will perform activities which would be impossible even for great kings and sages. Very soon he will complete his task and come back home. You should know that he will also spread your reputation all over the world. Purport. Here in this verse, Narada Muni has described Dhruva Maharaj as Prabhu. This word is applicable to Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes the spiritual master is addressed as Prabhupada. Prabhu means the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Pada means post. According to Vaishnava philosophy, the spiritual master occupies the post of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Or in other words, he is a bona fide representative of the Supreme Lord. Dhruva Maharaj is also described here as Prabhu because he is an Acharya of the Vaishnava school. Another meaning of Prabhu is master of senses, just like the word Swami. Another significant word is Suduksharam, very difficult to perform. What was the task that Dhruva Maharaj undertook? The most difficult task is to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Dhruva Maharaj would be able to do that. We must remember that Dhruva Maharaj was not fickle. He was determined to execute his service and then come back. Every devotee, therefore, should be determined that in this life he will be able to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and by that process go back home, back to Godhead. That is the perfection of highest mission of life. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So, Narada Rishi pacifies the king, saying that your son is not an ordinary son. He's a very competent person. Don't worry about what will happen to him when he goes to the forest, just because he's a small boy. You will see that he'll perform activities which are wonderful, which are not easily performable by a small child or even by an adult, or impossible for great kings and sages. Even for sages it is difficult. That much Dhruva Maharaj is capable of doing it. Very soon he'll come back home, and you should know that he will spread your reputation. So this is the perception of Narada Rishi towards Dhruva Maharaj. He knew that Dhruva Maharaj had great determination and that he will satisfy the Supreme Lord by his tapasya, with the desire to have darshan of the Supreme Lord, and he would get the darshan of the Supreme Lord, and then he would come back to the kingdom, come back to the palace, and execute his services. As wished by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that would be the perfection of Dhruva Maharaj's life. So, here Prabhupada is explaining to us, is pointing out that Dhruva Maharaj is being addressed by Narada Rishi as Prabhu. So different meanings of Prabhu, Prabhupada is describing. One meaning of Prabhu is the Lord himself. Another meaning of Prabhu is he is a master of his senses. And also another described here as Prabhu because he is an Acharya of the Vaishnava school. So this word Prabhu has got different meanings. And all these meanings are different shades of the same absolute truth. And Prabhupada is, in the purport itself, is explaining what is Prabhupada. I'll read. This word is applicable to Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes a spiritual master is addressed as Prabhupada. Pada means post, position. According to Vaishnava philosophy, the spiritual master occupies the post of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, he is a bona fide representative of the Supreme Lord. So he is in the post of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is in that status. He is in that status. That is why it's called Prabhupada. One who has become one with the quality of the Supreme Prabhu. So that status, yesterday I was discussing about that status, soul's status, dignity, quality, as quality of God Himself. Nothing to do with material energy. Nothing to do with three modes of material nature. Nothing. No permanent connection with material energy. The soul has no permanent connection with this material energy. One who has attained that status, that means completely transcendental status. Such a person is called Prabhupada. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was also being called Prabhupada. Bhaktivedanta Swami is also called Prabhupada. All the acharyas in our parampara are Prabhupadas. Because they have attained that status, pure status of pure self-realization, of being one in quality with the Supreme Lord. The moment somebody attains one in quality with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the material qualities have no impact on him. Three gunas have no impact on him. Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Sagunan samaitete. The three gunas have no effect on that person. This is a status of a Sadguru. It is this kind of a Sadguru who has attained that status or who is in that status, who has attained, or sometimes Nitya Siddha, I mean, they're always like that. They never came down. They were always having that status. So those who are in those status of being in the position of the Supreme Personality of God, and especially for the disciple, this is very important. For the disciple, not only he has attained the quality of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he looks upon him as good as God. Because he is a pure representative of God, everything that the God wants to reciprocate, you can get through that personality. So this is the meaning of Sadguru. Guru, okay, there can be so many Siksha Gurus, so many Gurus can be there. There's a Sadguru. There can be a Sadguru. Sad means what? Transcendental. Sadguru. Not anybody who calls themselves a Sadguru. Sadguru means transcendental. There's so much meaning in that word, Sadguru. Is completely free from all bodily association, completely free from three modes of material nature, purely representing Krishna and his mission, and propagating pure devotional service, bhakti, to the Supreme Lord. That is Sadguru. And such a Sadguru is to be seen as having attained the status, position of the Supreme Personality of God for the disciple. Why? Very important. Yesterday we discussed. He and Lord Vishnu, who is in our heart, having the same function with respect to guiding the disciple, purifying the disciple, taking them back to Godhead. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena maam upayanti. Seated in our heart to guide, to direct each living entity, both in the material world and when he wants to go out of the material world. They execute this function. The external spiritual master is a representation of the internal Chaitya Guru. And Chaitya Guru is Krishna himself. Right? So therefore, status is same. Functional status. The functional status, a Guru may be a Jiva, but his functional status is exactly as that of Vishnu. And not only that, Krishna or Vishnu, Lord in the heart, or Krishna makes such a soul as good as him. It is not only functionally, he makes it as good as him. That means everything you can get, you get from Guru. Everything you want to get from Krishna, you can get from Guru. Anything you want to give to Krishna, you can give through Guru. Therefore it is said, Yasya prasada, Bhagavat prasada. This we have to understand. It is different from saying that, okay, if you please Guru, then Krishna is pleased. If you please Sadguru, Krishna is pleased. That is why it is very important to follow strictly the orders of the spiritual master. Pleasing Guru now at this stage means we do not know like that the heart of Guru, heart of Krishna, we do not know. Only what instruction comes we know. So we have to strictly follow the instructions of the spiritual master. And when we follow the instruction of the spiritual master, all the standing instruction of the spiritual master, then we get qualified for further instructions from within the heart. They're waiting. Otherwise they'll say, what instruction can I give you? You're not even chanted your 16 rounds. These are all standing instruction. First you follow those instructions. So, and what is the purpose of, what is the goal of Guru? The goal of a Sadguru is to take everybody to that status of one with quality of Krishna. He wants to take everybody, he wants to make everybody realize that they are Satchidananda. They are not this material body. You are suffering. You are hallucinating that you have no connection with Krishna. You are in deep hallucination that you have no connection with Krishna. Every living entity has got a loving connection with Krishna. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu defines Jivera Surupo Intera Krishna Dasa. So we are spiritually hallucinating. With our spiritual mind, we are spiritually hallucinating. I have nothing to do with who is Krishna. Just like suddenly you read Prabhupada's books, you read all these things, you get excited. You go to your father and mother. Who are you? You're not my father. Krishna is my father. Suddenly they get shocked. I used to say that. After reading Prabhupada's book, openly I used to fight with my father. I say, you're not my father, Krishna is my father. So, actually we are hallucinating. Nothing, we have nothing to do with this material body. We have nothing to do with anything in the material world. Nothing. And that is what death teaches. Gone, chapter gone, closed. Mr. So-and-so's chapter is closed. Entire life was based on Mr. So-and-so, this body. Closed. No. I want some connection. Last life, something I worked so hard and, so much wealth I have left behind. Can I continue that? You won't even know that. Probably you'll go there as a servant in that house. The same house you own, you're big, everything. There, you may even be born as a cockroach also. If you're very attached to huge bathrooms and all that. Nowadays, rich people, they have huge bathrooms, are big like, a big hall. They'll be so much attached. So much that they cannot pass through somewhere else. Only they have to come back and pass through there. All interiors, no? Interiors are all done so nicely. All meant to make an illusion that, I don't have a body of flesh and bones. Imitating a Satchidananda life. So no connection. What a great lesson death gives. What a great lesson. Every devotee should meditate on this. Whatever I am, everything in the material world I am attached to, centered around the body. This one, my thing, I, me, mine, going on. None of them are mine, none of them are me, none of them are, I have no connection with them. But when we are there, we are thinking, this is me, this is my life. Death, then again another drama begins. Another I am the body. Another body. So, when you see the truth, the soul asks this question. What is I am seeking after relationship. Life after life I am seeking relationship. Where is eternal relationship? This is a joke. None of these things are me. Even this life is not me. Who am I? So anyway, coming back to this, Prabhupada says that one should be determined to engage in devotion service like Dhruva Maharaj. One should be determined to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You should not be fickle-minded. And then after satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead, after getting His blessings, what does Prabhupada say? And then come back. There's a lot of work to do for Krishna in the material world. But to do work for Krishna in the material world very effectively, you have to attain a spiritual status. Then after that, you are simply an instrument in the hands of the Lord. The Paramatma will be guiding such a soul to execute the mission. There is complete empowerment of such a soul because Krishna wants to liberate the living entities. Krishna wants to empower the living entity to preach his mission. There is no doubt about it. But then we should become the patra, or we should become the instrument for that empowerment. For that, first we have to satisfy the Supreme Personality of God, and our consciousness should be completely get purified with the consciousness of being the servant of the Lord. And nothing to do with this material world. So what is all the equivalent of this in our case? In our case, What is the tapasya? What is the highest tapasya that we are to do? Huh? Yeah, highest tapasya is highest tapasya is to hear Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We are all chanting. It's only one level of tapasya. Highest level of tapasya is uninterruptedly chant your 16 rounds here. For that, why there is tapasya? To lock the attention, we have to have tapasya. That means we have to be determined. Every day when we chant, even after training so much, every day when we start our chanting, the first mala should be completely anchoring tapasya. Anchoring tapasya is what? It is what happens at the end of anchoring tapasya? Attention gets locked into chanting and hearing, chanting and hearing, chanting and hearing. What does anchoring tapasya do? Till then you have not been chanting, something and all is running in your mind. All this has to be arrested. That is the first round is very important. You have to arrest that. First round in any session. Let's say you've done 4 rounds. Now next you are starting. Next again, the first round should be a anchoring tapasya. You should offer. And anchoring tapasya, how you should offer? With sankalpa and vikalpa. Vikalpa means negative free will. No for something. Sankalpa means only something. So only Nama Prabhu in my consciousness, nothing else. No thoughts, nothing else. With that, we should concurrently chant and hear that very sound. Chant and hear that very sound. This is our tapasya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nama Prabhu has made it so merciful that 16 rounds is not tapasya. Only the first round is tapasya. What happens? When there is anchoring tapasya offered, what happens? Huh? No, there is a Divya Cheshta Shakti coming from the Nama. That Divya Cheshta Shakti is very empowering. You want to chant more and more and more and more in a locked state. Chant and hear that, chant and hear the same, chant and hear the same. But you don't get that. If you don't do anchoring tapasya, then Nama Prabhu will say, you're not serious, no? You're not serious to come into the fire of Satchidananda. If you're serious, then I will lock the attention. I will give you the Shakti. Otherwise, in Kali Yuga, very difficult to lock the attention by your mental abilities. Mind goes here and there. You need Nama Prabhu Shakti only for meditation. Normal meditation in Kali Yuga is not possible. Only Hare Krishna meditation is possible because in Hare Krishna meditation, Hare Krishna gives the strength to control the mind and lock the mind in the transcendental sound. So this is our tapasya. So if we engage in this tapasya, then the Supreme Lord is very pleased. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very pleased. Because he is the Yajna Purusha who receives the worship of the holy name, Sankirtana. He is very pleased. When he is very pleased, he opens the door, the transcendental treasure that he wants to give to everybody. So in whatever tapasya Dhruva Maharaj did, 6 months, midst of the forest, so tough in terms of body, mind, it is so tough. All that benefit is offered to us simply by I was thinking why Prabhupada gave initiation after 6 months. Ideally speaking, 6 months you can lock your attention and you can do mindful japa, complete mindful japa. Ideal. Nobody is following. But that is if somebody wants to follow in 6 months, say you're a new devotee. In 6 months, you're very serious chanting. You will see that your japa is you start locking your attention. Your attention will not go anywhere else. Because there is support from the Nama. Shraddha should be there, that this is Krishna himself. So our whole Krishna consciousness, step 1 is step 1. Step 2 is step 2. You cannot bring step 2 to step 1. You want to preach in a big way, you want to do this, that, because Prabhupada has expressed so many desires and all those things. I want to satisfy those desires of Prabhupada. Very nice, but first step is this. You get empowered, you get detached from the material world. You get detached from the doership. You see Prabhupada and Krishna is doing everything. Get detached. Come to that status of that consciousness. Boom. The treasure is open. Because Krishna's only fear is, I empower, they should not go into Maya. Because power is intoxicating. Fame is intoxicating. Name, fame, prestige, position, these are all intoxicating in the material world. It's all social intoxication. So Prabhupada and Krishna wants us to become free, completely free from this desire for social gratification. The devotee's eyes is somewhere else, not in this society. His eyes is somewhere else. His eyes is previous acharyas, Prabhupada, they should be satisfied, Krishna should be satisfied. Does not matter what the society thinks. How can all that happen? Only if we associate nicely through soulful japa. So therefore, the focus of every devotee who wishes to contribute to Srila Prabhupada's mission, which very much has been expressed by Srila Prabhupada, expressed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this world should become Krishna consciousness. It is not that we don't have a social goal. We don't have a goal in this society. We want to change Krishna. We want to give Krishna consciousness to everybody. So if you want to do that, then we have to understand that we have to prepare the horse. We have to prepare the horse that pulls the cart. There is a horse and there is a cart. So our tapasya, nama tapasya, nama seva tapasya is the horse. Cart is organization, all these things. Paramarthik, chanting, hearing, reading, these are all paramarthik seva. Then we have got service to preach in this material world, dovetailing service, which is called paramarthik vyavahari. Because we are mixing in the material world. But it is still paramarthik. But to do purely paramarthik vyavaharik seva, you need the strength of strong paramarthik realization, understanding. Tapasya. We have joined here to Krishna consciousness for tapasya. And Krishna is so merciful and Prabhupada is so merciful, Harinam is so merciful that please, I am not asking you all the other kinds of tapasya like Dhruva Maharaj. It is not even after first round, it is not even tapasya. After first round, it is not tapasya. You don't want to stop chanting. So that much we cannot do. That much determination we should have. Should not be fickle-minded. Have strong sankalpa, vikalpa, determination to associate with Nama every day by locking your attention. That is our highest tapasya. And equivalent to this, we must remember that, okay, he was determined to execute his service and come back. We also want to perfect our japa and don't want to run away to the spiritual world. We want to come back, full force, fulfill the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then wherever he wants to take, let him take. It is not that till we die we go on, not even coming back. You attain, we should be determined. I have to attain, full attentive, Anandamaya japa, or soulful japa, with full bhavanas. I have to attain that. My whole consciousness will change. This is my goal. All four regulatory principles and all becomes a play. Simply struggling for four regulatory principles. What you are struggling, that is supposed to have given up and then start. Initiation means already given up. Right? And why it is still troubling us? Because we are not focusing on our hearing. So powerful. Hearing Nama is so powerful. A chitta gets shuddhi very fast. Chitta shuddhi happens very fast. Wholesale. You don't have to take out what is sex, blood, mucus, urine, no body, all that philosophy is not required. Taste hi nahi hoga. Wholesale. Wholesale cleaning. So many anarthas are there. There is a retail anartha. Take one and throw it, take one and throw it, take one and throw it. We are not engaged in this. In none of the classes we tell all these things. Okay, find out where your pride is and you should take it out. We never tell in classes all these things. Why? Because wholesale everything will go. Cheto darpanam arjanam. By chanting Hare Krishna and hearing Hare Krishna. Any questions? So every devotee therefore should be determined in this life. He'll be able to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And by that process, go back home, back to Godhead. That is the perfection of highest mission of life.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. We see sometimes devotees will be struggling for their chanting till the end of the day. Means they want to do services also, and we want to do our chanting also. But sometimes for the services, we have to keep the chanting in between and leave for the service. And without getting the power from the Nama Prabhu, we can't do our service properly. So how to manage this?
So you see, if you have some services, first of all, number one, these situations, nobody is put in a permanent situation like that in service. Sometimes training time, you are put like that. But it's not a permanent feature. Number one. Number two, when your service is like that, you should not do bits and bits. You should do at least 4 rounds at a time. You start with anchoring tapasya, finish 4 rounds. Lock your attention for 4 rounds. Not one now, one now, one now, one now. Very difficult. It's not tapasya. So that is one thing. Each session, minimum 4 rounds you chant. Because to lock the attention, almost half round will go. Depends on your What is gunakala karma forces that is coming from the subconscious to your conscious mind and disturbing you? Or sometimes conscious mind, whatever comes from the subconscious mind, instead of disturbing you, it will encourage you. All ups and downs will be there. But to irrespective of all that, we have to throw all those out. I don't depend on material circumstances for my japa. Sukha may be there, dukkha may be there. Chod do. The ocean of Satchidananda is with me, and now I am going to associate. Finish. So that way, you ensure that 4 rounds at a time you do. Now, if it is due to services, if it is not due to services, if it is own self-made thing, that is wrong. You should chant your 16 rounds in the morning itself. That is why even here for pujaris we say at morning you finish. For there is a discipline. Discipline is required. Niyama is required. You chant after this time to this time. That's why all the pujaris are told they should chant near the in front of Brahmachari ashram lawn. They have to chant. Finish their 16 rounds. So this is the way we should manage the things. Because you see, somebody has to cook. That is why all devotees had to be specially grateful to cooks. Somebody has to do pujaris. We have to be specially grateful to pujaris. Why? They are not able to chant in the morning, and they are allowing you to chant in the morning. You go and sit nicely, eat. So every day you should put namaskaras to all the cooks. Then you go and see the deities, beautiful deities decorated. Please remember pujaris also. It didn't come easily. Sometimes these two services are least recognized in the community. But this is the most important. None of us can do our services otherwise without that. So yes, some sacrifice is there. And of course, every devotee's service, there is sacrifice. Each other should appreciate the other's sacrifice. Now after hearing this, pujari cook should not think, hey, हम तो बड़ा है, हमारा सबसे बड़ा सेवा है, हम नहीं कुक करेगा तुम क्या खाएगा? So the devotee will say, हम कलेक्ट नहीं करेगा तुम क्या कुक करेगा? हम पैसा नहीं लाएगा तो क्या कुकिंग करेगा? So it becomes all material talk. So why we are saying all this? Everybody should appreciate other Vaishnava's contribution. So that way, if you see, all are equally important services in the temple. Does that answer your question or no? Sometimes it's difficult to understand the question. So I think I understood your question. Anything else? Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.